So these data is showing, if you look at this data, the orange line, which is from AstraZeneca vaccine, and within 150 days, the immunity becomes below 30%. And for the Pfizer, it happens within 6 months. Whereas Moderna still retains sufficient immunity even after 6 months. So now I believe most of we are vaccinated, and based on your vaccination day, you can assume your immunity level based on the candidate vaccine, what is given, what is shown here. So if you are vaccinated with AstraZeneca and you are 6 months already passed, your vaccination immunity might be around 20%. So think about that. So due to these things, now the scientific community is proposing to have a booster dose again, the third round of vaccination. So that is creating more competition now for the availability of the vaccine. If you notice this, you will not see any Chinese vaccine or Sputnik, so which from Russia. In this article, the author mentioned that they did not put those data because they do not believe those are qualified vaccine. So that's why those data are not here. So, and this thing, the continuous evolution of virus is creating another level of challenge. So if you look at these data, alpha variant was noticed on September 2020 in UK, and then beta in South Africa, and in Brazil, gamma in November 2020, and delta came in India in October 2020. And gradually the epsilon, zeta, and all other variants came in. So out of those, the WHO actually declared 5 variants as variants of concern. Out of those, delta is now raising the world, and the very recently Omicron came up. Though we do not have sufficient data to claim how infectious this is or how severe this is, but we should stay very alert on that. We believe that scientists will provide sufficient data to conclude by the next month. Some studies are going on in 3 centers. One is in South Africa, one is in UK, and another is in Germany. So we believe that soon the data will come. But as per today, Delta variant is the major concern, which is storming in the world with a prevalence ratio of 99.8%. But with those variants coming in, virus is swarming in your blood. Although the serum contains significant amount of antibody, but they cannot neutralize this because of those mutations. And that creates this data. If you look at this graph, which is also published very recently in Nature, University of Oxford and AstraZeneca's vaccine originally came out with a protection rate of around 70%, and for the other variants like Delta, it reduced, the efficacy is reduced. And so for the Pfizer, BioNTech, and Moderna, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine suffered the most, which is also a single-dose vaccine. So these data is clearly indicating that we need a second generation of vaccine. And here comes the beauty of the BongoVax. You know, these are the known severe mutations so far identified in all variants of SARS-CoV-2 virus. And using this information and our own bioinformatics expertise, we have came out with a design which produced this special design, BongoVax. You can notice here there are 3 prime mutations we have incorporated, which are shown below. This is the only vaccine so far present in the world which have these mutations considered. Though in a virus there are so many mutations can be generated, but all of those are not bad. Some are also reducing the lethality, but some are actually helping evading the immunogenic protection generated by vaccination, and some may have produced alternative pathway to infection. So that's why our design is very unique. This is the only vaccine so far which is designed against multiple variants, and I will show the data. This is the only vaccine which has provided complete protection against the Delta variant. So here you can see the basic mechanism of the mRNA LNP vaccine. You can see here to the left bottom the green circles. So these are the actually nanocapsule, very specially designed. This is the main engineering thing. mRNA can be made by any molecular biologist, but the main technology is in this nanosphere making. So these nanosphere must be of certain diameters, usually within 60 to 120 nanometer. If it is not within that level, something like smaller, then it will pass through the fenestration of the kidney. And if it is larger, it will not be delivered into the antigen presenting cells. So at this size, the LNP is delivered into the antigen presenting cell in body like dendritic cell, and then mRNA is released and the mRNA translates to spike protein, so that spike protein produces specific antibody that gives us the protection. And this is the flow path of the vaccine program, and we have finished the large animal trial, and we are now in preparation of the human trials. And this non-human primate trial is collaborated, is I think one of the very good example of successful collaboration between the industry and academia. So this trial is collaborative effort between 2 esteemed educational institutions in Bangladesh. One is the Dhaka University, and Dr. Shitesh Basar is now currently sitting in the stage. So he is the professor of Dhaka University, Department of Pharmacy, and he is one of the key member of this research team. And we all know Dr. Mahatab Mamun al-Mahatab. So he is the PI of this research team, and also our honorable vice chairman of this institution, Professor Sharifuddin Ahmed. He is also in this research team. So we thank to this team, and also there are many other observer and advisors who helped to get this research done. And this is the approval of the IRBs from both institutions. And I'll show you only few key data. This is the toxicology data, and we could not find any kind of deviations between the vaccinated and control animals in the hematologic profiles. And so I'm just flying through those data to give you a glimpse of eyes to see that there is no differences. And this is one of the data where you can notice after the virus challenge, the red line groups, which are the control groups, has started reducing their body weight. They have started losing their body weight, indicating some disease condition or abnormal physiological condition on challenge. Compared to the blue and green groups, which are the 2 other vaccinated groups, they did not show any kind of decline in their body weights. So, and this is the antibody titer data. So you can notice that on day 7, after vaccination, the titers started to emerge, and on day 14, they already increased to log 7 to 8 level, which is very sufficient to give us protection as a functional vaccine, because as per the regulation, the virus titer level should cross log 4, whereas on a single dose, we are getting log 7 to 8. And on day 28, you can say, again, after the second dose, on day 21, it increased further to log 12 level. So that's a very strong level of antibody, and which is again supporting the previous data. We claim that one dose of this mRNA vaccine might be sufficient to provide efficient protection against this SARS-CoV-2. And this is the data you can see. This is the tissues, organs from the animals. The top one is showing the control group data, and bottom one is the treated group, which is vaccinated, and then challenged with the Delta variant of the SARS-CoV-2. And if you look at these data, this is a clear indication. If you look at the bottom left, which is vaccinated animal challenged with Delta, the lungs appear very normal and healthy. And compared to the control injected, which is placebo injected, shown here in the panel D, lower right, you can clearly see the lungs is severely damaged. So this is very clear indication that on challenge with Delta variant of COVID virus, this vaccine can give us protection. So this is a very beautiful and concrete data. And this is another set of very important data, which is showing that CD2027 cell population, which is actually the memory cell, CD4 plus memory cell, is surged on day 42 before challenge. This is actually the day we have provided challenge with the Delta variant. And you can see here already there are a circulating level of significant high percentage of memory cell, specifically developed on vaccination. And on challenge, this cell has to propagate. And on day 7 of challenge, after the challenge, you can see again the rightmost 2 bars, these memory cells are again proliferated, which is indicating that these memory cells are functional and they can recognize the epitope and can proliferate to provide proper protection. So this is a very beautiful data which is indicating that Bongovex is able to provide long-term protection. So here we can say that the Bongovex is a safe and effective vaccine against SARS-CoV-2, including the Delta variants, and Bongovex is ready for phase 1 clinical trial. By this time, we have got ethical clearance from the NREC and waiting for the approval of drug administration. As soon as we will get that, we will do the phase 1 clinical trial, and you will be very happy to hear that BSMU is the trial site and BSMU is the partner for conducting this clinical trial. So we are thankful to BSMU and the research team headed by Professor Mamun Al-Mahatab Shapnil. So we are grateful to them. And if we can bring this vaccine to the clinical trial based on the animal data, we are very confident that very likely the data will come out positive. And if it comes so, this will be a history for the Bangladeshi scientific community. And because this will be the first vaccine developed in Bangladesh and for Bangladesh. and based on the data, if it provides sufficient protection against the other mutants, this will also be delivered to the global community. So thank you all for your interest.
Thank you, Dr. Kakon Nag, CEO, Globe Biotech. Now, the chairperson of this session, Dr. Harisul Haq, Professor Dr. Harisul Haq, Department of Cardiology, will deliver his speech.
আজকে এখন পর্যন্ত যারা ধৈর্য ধরে বসে আছেন, সোয়া 2টা বেজে গেছে খাবার টাইম। তো যান্ত্রিক এবং কারিগরি ত্রুটির জন্য একটু দেরি হয়েছিল, কিন্তু খুব চমৎকার আনন্দের ব্যাপার এবং আশার ব্যাপার এই যে বাংলাদেশ কোভিড-19-এর এগেনস্টে কিছু একটা বের করতে পেরেছে। তো মানে কবিতার ভাষায় বলতে গেলে বা গানের ভাষায় বলতে গেলে বলতে হবে যে রেখমা দাসেরে মনে। তো মিস্টার কাকুন নাগকে ধন্যবাদ। এই চমৎকার জিনিসের জন্য পত্রপত্রিকা দেখেছিলাম, তার আকুতি আজকে স্বচক্ষে দেখলাম। তার এই প্রচেষ্টা আশা আরও দেখুক আমরা চাই। এবং আমি এই সুযোগে একটু জানিয়ে রাখি, এর সঙ্গে আমিও জড়িত আছি। আমার দায়িত্ব দেওয়া হয়েছে ডাটাবেজ এন্ট্রি ওই কমিটির চেয়ারম্যান হিসেবে। আমি অত্যন্ত আনন্দিত এবং আমি অত্যন্ত গর্বিত যে বাঙালিরা একটা কিছু করতে পেরেছে, যেটা নিয়ে আমরা ভয়ে ছিলাম, ভীত ছিলাম, উদ্বিগ্ন ছিলাম। আজকে এ চুক্তি করে পাঠায় না, ও টাকা নেয়, জিনিস দেয় না, এই জিনিস থেকে অন্তত আমরা মুক্তি পাবো, কারণ এই টিকাটা লাগবেই। কালকে WHO লেকচার শুনছিলাম, ওরা বলছে 2024 সালে এটা এন্ডেমিক হবে। দ্যাট মিনস 2024-এর পরেও আপনাকে এই টিকাটা ব্যবহার করতে হতে পারে। ধন্যবাদ আপনাদের সবাইকে। কাকুন্না চমৎকারভাবে ব্যাখ্যা করেছেন এর বিভিন্ন দিকগুলি। এখন আমার সঙ্গে আরেকজনের সভাপতিত্ব করছেন, যিনি ইউনিওয়ের সঙ্গে উতপ্রোতভাবে জড়িত এবং বেসিক্যালি উনি এইসব ডেভেলপমেন্টেরই লোক। ধন্যবাদ সবাইকে।
Thank you, Professor Harisul Haq, sir. Now, I request Professor Shitesh Basar, Department of Pharmacology, Dhaka University, to deliver his speech.
Thank you, Dr. Abdurrahim Rahim, for your moderations of this session. First of all, I would like to express my thanks to the key scientists of the Globe Biotech for the development of the BongoVax. And today's topic is COVID-19 vaccine of Bangladesh, by Bangladesh, for Bangladesh, and beyond. And I am very happy to be here by the invitation of the Professor Mamun Al Mahatab, the organizer of the stem cell therapy showcasing Bangladesh of this Bangabandhu second Stemcom 2021. And I think this is the 5th conference of the ongoing sessions of the societies. You know very well, the key scientist already mentioned the scenario how this pandemic situation is going on in Bangladesh and all over the world, and why we are involved in these sessions. You know, in Bangladesh, this is the first time the animal trial, especially on a non-human primate, was conducted regarding this development of BongoVax issues. We have a good experience in mice, rats, and rabbit. Have a vast experience, but we don't have an experience previously on monkey, that is non-human primates. But the grace of Almighty and the development of the BongoVax, the Kakon Nag and his team, especially Dr. Nazneen Sultana and others, and definitely our PI, Professor Mamun Al Mahatab, once a day I met in a meeting with him. And so I don't know from where he get my name, because I have a good experience in clinical trial, in animal as well as in human trials. So he opened the Pandora's box to me Are you interested or not? I mean, definitely, why not? I am happy to be the part of you. You include your team, and that was the beginning. And now we have done a good research in animal model, and we have confident enough about the safety and efficacy of the bongovax. And Dr. Kakon already mentioned that the single dose mRNA-based vaccine is the best so far we have seen. Maricel data says that definitely it will be long term, as it was mentioned in the previous literature mentioned in Moderna and the Pfizer. So if the approval of the phase 1 human trial is recommended by the respective authority, definitely Bangladesh will be able to produce something and will be the third one for the mRNA vaccines and 8th in the world for the development of his own vaccine for his own protections. And all of you know very well, the government has taken an initiative to give a booster dose to the frontliner and the person who was more than 65. And I can challenge you and I can assure you that this bongovax may be a good one for the booster dose for our people. So with these few words, I think this is a good sessions. And we have learned a lot from the beginning. We have learned very important things about the stem cells. We a little bit know about these things. But from the morning, I have gone through good lectures from the speakers. Definitely, we are thinking about how we can promote and how can we get the benefit from the stem cell therapy in near future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Shitesh Bachar, for your nice delivery. We are proud enough to be a part of generating a new vaccine from Bangladesh, Bongovax. We are almost at the end of our session. This is time for crest delivery. I would like to request Professor Harisul Haq, Department of Cardiology, Bangabandhu Sheikh Medical University, to deliver crest to our honorable speaker, Dr. Kakun Nag, CEO, Globe Biotech Limited. Now, I would like to request Professor Mamun Al Mahtab to deliver crest to our honorable session chairs as well as to our moderator. Professor Mamun Al Mahtab will deliver crest to Professor Shitesh, Department of Pharmacology, University of Dhaka. Next crest goes towards Professor Harisul Haq, Department of Cardiology, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib Medical University. Now, Dr. Mohammad Abdur Rahim will receive crest from Professor Mamun Al Mahtab Shopnil. And thank you all the audience for patient hearing throughout the whole day. This is the end of our session. There is provision of refreshment, and then thank you all. Next to see you on another scientific session. Thank you.
Recording stopped.